Hello and welcome, this is the Nuclear Rabbit and today I am playing a Blizzard Source. I know it's not one of those fancy creative builds I usually do, but it's a miss to not have it on here. So first off, I find a 10 FCR 10 MF ring, which is insane. Like the best ring you can find in Act 1 normal. I mean, I think I'd take that over a Nagel even. After that we have Deatheye over here, who just takes a lot of time to die because he's cold enchanted while I'm just going cold, I felt like it. After that we farm the counters, almost died to a ghost, farm the counters some more. Basically I'm looking for a stealth, just Tal Eth. And once I have the runes I head towards Andariel. And honestly Andariel and all the other bosses with a Sorceress are just static time. So I static her down till she's almost dead and then very easily kill her. Find my second piece of Clay Glass set, which gets me attack rating, but that doesn't matter. But 15 resist all is very nice until you get a shield that can use some of the diamonds. And this is me making my stealth, and this is me just making a better shield using some diamonds. Then we head towards Duriel, who as usual we just static down and we throw some ice bolts at him, and there he goes. Then it's time for the council, and at this point I farmed up to level like 24, 25ish, so I actually do have Blizzard now, and you can tell it's very powerful. There's a reason this is one of the best builds in the game. So we just Blizzard down everything without any trouble whatsoever, and then head towards Mephisto. Killing Mephisto with a Blizzard Source just feels like slipping on some warm slippers, and he goes down very easily. Then it's time for Isual, who we also just static down. Static is such a broken ability. If I would rebalance the game, I would nerf static super hard. Kind of amazed they haven't. But yeah, I think static is the most egregious skill in the game. There are some others that are as broken, but they're not as obvious. For instance, Leap is really broken, but that's for the Barbarian build. Anyway, I find a Sanders Superstition, so I'm gonna use that till I find a Spirit. And then we go ahead and fight Diablo. It's very easy, stay out of the lightning and just toss damage his way. I'm not really staticking him because it's absolutely terrifying to stand near him with a Sorceress. So I'm just tossing some blizzards. And it does take a bit longer, but it's much safer. If I'm in the middle of doing a static and he starts lightninging, it's just a matter of who dies first, and it's gonna be me. And he's standing still, so he's not taking that much damage from Blizzard, but he does end up just going down in a few seconds. And we find nothing much from him, but that's okay, because now we just head towards the Ancients. And you can farm Eldritch if you want before doing the Ancients, but I just want to get to the counters on Nightmare as fast as I can, because that's where all the good gear is. So I'm really just going fast throughout all of this. And what also helps is that Blizzard is insanely powerful, so you can very easily just plow through all of everything in the game. Because, well, a Blizzard Source isn't so much a challenging run as much as it is a I need to get a Magic Find character for the rest of my account run. But yeah, just look at Blizzard just chunking those Ancients. And there they go. Which brings us to Bale, who we also just static. Once you're in normal and you have Blizzard, nothing will stop you, nothing. Also works for Nightmare and most of Hell. Blizzard is insane. If you ever want to get rich quick on like ladder or something, build this character, farm 10,000 Mephisto runs, profit. That's just it, that's just how to get rich in Diablo 2. Anyway, with that being said, there goes Bale. And this is our gear after normal. I figured I'd show it off more often, so it's a lot of MF, some FCR, some resistances. But people have been asking to see more of my mid-game gear and stuff, so I try to focus on that a bit more. So I end up level 29 after doing a Bale run and the Ancients. And then I head towards the Nightmare counters where I find some runes, but the goal here is definitely just Spirit and Lore. And an Insight for my Mercenary. I also end up finding a Gothic plate, which gives my Mercenary some crushing blow. I use a sword with 4 sockets to make a Spirit. And this is just an endgame weapon, it's insane. I mean, my Sorceress is level 80 now and it's still using this gear. So it's a Rhyme, a Spirit. And after that I decide to wait till the terrorized zone comes up on the Andariel area and I go ahead and farm that a bunch. If you're ever wondering why I know which area is going to be terrorized, you can just look it up. You can just use a Terror Zone calendar or something like that and just look it up online. It's very easy to find. So after farming Andariel for an hour, I end up finding not really anything, so I head towards Duriel. And I can be all like, yeah, I went through Act 2 and I did this and I did that. What I did was I fucking teleported and slowed mana pots like my life depended on it. So anyway, Duriel, just lure him throughout the blizzard and he will die and he will drop you town portals. See? Town portals. After that, it's time for the council, who are kind of scary but also kind of not, because we're a Blizzard source, so the rules of the game don't really apply to us. So one thing that is a downside to Blizzard is if things are standing still, you won't hit them, and it's a lot easier to hit with Blizzard on PC than it is on a controller. The controller Blizzard source feels not particularly like weak or anything, but definitely not as good as on PC. Keyboard mouse is way better for a Blizzard source, because you get to throw the Blizzard like next to the enemy instead of on the enemy with the auto aim of the console. So one thing I definitely noticed, doesn't knock it from S tier or anything, it's still very powerful. So anyway, the council goes down, we grab the waypoint in the Durans and head towards the loot pinata. I mean Mephisto Nightmare, he's a loot pinata. And the funny thing is, I kind of already have the gear that I need to finish the game. Like, a sorceress just doesn't need much. I have a rhyme, I have a stealth, I have a lore, and I have a spirit. And that's just good enough for a Blizzard source. So I end up farming some Mephisto, but not really getting any upgrades. Except for these boots. These boots are made for walking for sure. And I find a 10 FCR 4 resist all ring, which is okay. And with that I head into Nightmare Act 4, where he faster the armor, get Blizzard down. And I'm just teleporting around to make sure that he walks through my damage as much as possible. We get the Hellforge, we get an Rune from it. And then we head towards Lord Decides, who our mercenary will just kill. That's just the answer to everything that's called immune until you get an Infinity or a Sunder Charm. Your mercenary will have to do a lot of work. One of the only downsides to this character. Then for Diablo Nightmare, he's already almost dead before I even finished this sentence, so that says a lot about this character. And yeah, we're just standing there, and yeah, there he goes. It's just that easy when you're a source. And he drops us an Ist rune. I had to double take on that. That's an Ist rune, not an Ith, that's an Ist. So a 30 MF rune, nice for when I go for my gear. There's a white Shaco, don't tease me like that, game. And then we head towards the Ancient on Nightmare, who we just blizzard down. I just reset them until I got no cold immunes, and then I blizzarded them a bunch. And as you can tell, just like on normal, we are chunking the ever-living shit out of them, so it's all good. And they will just keep following you and taking lots of damage while doing it, so that's just super nice, very solid way of killing them. And with that, as usual, we head towards Bale, where you can really see the crushing blow from the mercenary's armor coming through. And combine that with static, and it's just, Bale goes down in a couple of seconds. Because, well, yeah, this is one of the best boss killers in the game. It's not like the best boss killers, there are 2 or 3 that are better, but it's very up there. And with that, once again, I figure I'm a Blizz source, I'm gonna farm some Mephisto. And once again, don't really end up finding anything. I do end up finding a ring, which is a dwarf star, which is nice for the life, but it's not like, wow, this is the best gear ever. And I end up imbuing a helm, a circlet, for the best lore I've ever gotten. And I craft a Demon Hide sash because it's better than a gold wrap. I was literally using no gear at this point for my belt, so might as well. These are my stats heading into hell. And this is my gear heading into hell. So just really giving some idea of, okay, this is what I think is good enough, and this is my skills going into. I have teleport, static, and blizzard, that's it. Then for hell, we just head towards Andario because I want to get to the ancient tunnels, which is in Act 2, because that's the best way in the game for the Blizz source to farm and get some levels. Our mercenary goes down, and you can kind of see us having more trouble than we used to have, but it's not like this is a hard fight or anything. Like, there's no really hard fights for a Blizz source. I was actually considering uploading this on the first day of ladder. Oh, so that's a perfect nagel, by the way. I was actually considering uploading this video on the first day of ladder, and I'm like, nah, let's just upload it when it's done. Anyway, we're going towards the ancient tunnels. There's no cold immunes there unless you get an unlucky roll, so you can just level up as much as you can or you want. You can go up to level 99 if you want to. And then we head towards the maggot lair, where I kind of oopsie poopsie out of the map, and I kind of get stuck there for a bit. I do manage to get myself out, but it was a surprising sight to see. And this is just why this character is so good. This is just the life speed of me clearing the Arcane Sanctuary. So that's like 10 seconds for the first exit. Oh, if anyone's wondering, this was by far the fastest run I've done for this entire channel. This was like a 9-hour run, a 10-hour run, including lots of farming, so. And then we have it, the live version of how fast I got through the Arcane Sanctuary. I've had characters take hours here, and to give it some more perspective, this is me getting lost and clearing everything. Well, clearing is a big word, but checking everything in the Tarash's tomb. And you can tell this is like a few minutes. Sorcerers are just so insane. I've had characters take like evenings or even days getting through Act 2, and it's like, well, a couple of minutes and we're done. So we buy some talking pots and we go for Duriel. And static is still broken. And for the rest we just do the same strategy as we did in Nightmare, with him just walking through our blizzard. Things tend to kind of punch hard on hell, so do need to be a bit careful, but it's fine. Like, this is not very dangerous or anything. And we're still just chunking. It's not like we're doing a bit of damage or anything. We're still just legit chunking him. And then we go towards Act 3, where we very thoroughly explore the forest in about 90 seconds. And after that we head towards the council. And even the council, one of the hardest parts of the game, is just like, okay, we're gonna chunk the absolute living shit out of this with the blizzards. And the funny thing is, the water watchers are way harder to hit. Like, they're so difficult to hit. And cold immunes are just for the mercenary. Or not, because, well, that talk just killed my mercenary. So this becomes kind of messy. But I do end up just killing everything that isn't cold immune and then going for it. But yeah, besides the council, and even this is like very manageable, but it's definitely more dangerous than the rest of the run. You can just get in there and blizzard some stuff. And your mercenary will die here. He takes like 1000% damage from the Hydras. I have no idea why. I wish they would patch that. It feels so weird that like the Hydra just destroys mercenaries. Anyway, we're leading them around a bit and just trying to kill them. We need to stay away from when they explode. So there's the Kalim's flail. And we're just gonna ignore the cold immune and head towards the things that I can kill. Oh, I don't even bother with it. So anyway, hit the compelling orb, wait a bit, and after waiting for a bit, just teleport back. And this is what I mean, you can't really hit things that stand still. Like, it's the zealot is just over there, like, yep, nope. So anyway, we go into the Durans, where we go for Mephisto, loot Pinata, hell difficulty. And I feel like I have to show this at least once. You can mode trick Mephisto to stand there and just blizzard him from there. On keyboard mouse you can get so far away that he just can't attack back. On the controller you get the same range as he does, but it's still very easy to dodge everything. But yeah, this is the safest way to kill Mephisto. I find it extremely boring, so I tend not to do it. But if you want to, you can. And here we have a very tedious fight. We have Hephasto the Armorer versus my mercenary. Or in this case, Hephasto the Armorer versus my supply of pots. Because I'm basically just giving my mercenary rejuves and hoping that he can kill Hephasto, and it takes a while. But yeah, this is just a very miserable way of doing this, but luckily it's only Hephasto that goes down this way. And he does end up going down, so we go for the Hellforge. And was it all worth it? Was it? Absolutely not. We get a co-rune. And then we have Lord Decisive, who also goes down to the mercenary. It's not as bad. It takes a while because he's stone skin, but it's not that bad. And then we head towards Diablo, who we will just static and throw some blizzards at. And as long as he doesn't hit us too hard, we can just very easily blizzard him down. So there he goes. And you can farm levels for Eldritch, but the reason I'm farming Eldritch is because I know that the Ancients will be cold immune, so I need a better mercenary weapon that can actually deal damage, and I need a mercenary armor, so I end up going for a Duress and a rare Stygian Pike, and that way he can take down the cold immune Ancients, because there will always be at least one cold immune. And you have to be a bit careful, because this way you will lose your insight and your regenerate mana aura, but for the rest this is very nice, because now your mercenary can deal enough damage to kill the cold immunes. We have to lure one of them over. So now we have Maddock in a 2-on-1, which means we can very easily kill him. But you can start to tell that in Act 5 of Hell, our damage is becoming quite low and we are just taking a bit to kill stuff. But it's still very, very doable. I've pulled way worse through this game. And then we get Talik into a 2-on-1. So what you want to do here is stand towards the edge of the map so he won't whirlwind. I'm a bit too far off, but you can make it so that he will not whirlwind towards you. And that will be a very safe, very easy fight at that point. He'll just stand there like this. Also, I wish I could have his sword. His sword looks so cool. But yeah, anyway, this will take a bit, but he'll die very safely. And here we have Korlik, who is cold immune, but I can at least static him. And he's the whole reason that I farmed the weapon for the mercenary, because the open wounds and the quick attack of the Stygian Pike will end up killing him. If I had gone into this with my insight and nothing else, I would be brick walled here. It's one of the very few things in the game that can actually brick wall a sorceress, just not having enough damage to kill one of the ancients in the end game. But you can very easily farm to like level 90, 95 if you want to, purely by MFing and just have like an infinity and stuff and just plow through them. You can very easily do that. I mean, we've passed every relevant portion of the game where you would want to farm. And there they go. with the really weird graphics over there. I didn't know what happened first time I saw it. Anyway, with that we head towards the Minions of Destruction, and I included this just as a showcase for how easily you get through the rest of the game. You're just blizzarding everything down. And with that you head towards a Bale, but you can still static. The Blizzard Source is definitely a character where you're like, okay, I can kill Hell Mephisto, I can do the Ancient Tunnels, I don't need to go any further, I can just farm till my eyes bleed. And nobody would think that is weird at all, just farm till you have all the gear you want. I've definitely had Sorceress at like level 90, 92 where I'm like, oh wait, I forgot to kill Bale. And then go kill the Ancients and kill Bale in like 20 minutes. So definitely a thing you can do if you're purely in it for the farm. And there we have it, my final stats. And my final gear. And all of this can very easily be upgraded. It can be farmed very easily. I mean, you could find every single one of these items except for maybe the Dwarf Star in normal. Here's my build, it's Blizzard. With teleport and static, that's just it. So here we have it, Guardian, nice. Thank you for watching, see you in the next one, bye bye.